Psychose is an indie horror game developed by Twenty Dolz Production, a recently new indie development team. Their first game was, let's see here, Bunker Nightmare Begins, which came out on April 18th, 2019, and their recent new horror game, which I'm going to be covering, Psychose, August 5th, 2019. Now, when I first looked at the previews of this game, it looked promising, it really did. Not promising like Centralia was. I should have known that was going to be shit because the assets were very familiar. But this one actually does look promising, like graphically and lighting wise. Now how the graphics, everything, the detail of the game looks really good. The lighting looks superb. It just looks like a fun horror game that is an imitation of Outlast. And there is no way around that. It is essentially an imitation of Outlast. Now, I don't have a problem with that. Imitation is the highest form of flattery, as long as it's not a complete knockoff like Centralia was. But this one, I was like, alright, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a try. It was only like $2 to $3 when I bought this thing, so I was like, alright, if I at least get scared and I have a good time, I think I'll call this a good one. And you guys know me, I give low budget indie horror games a chance. We are on a mission to find a hidden horror gem that we can spread around the internet and start forums, fan fiction, and terrible fan art shipping these two characters that should never be together. One day we will get to that. But is this today? Almost. It was almost today. I would say it was 60% close of being it. But it wasn't. Sadly, that 40% held it back when I finished the game. And now when I think about this game more, that 60% is dropping down to like a 40% itself. And that's a darn shame because I did like the setup. I thought the gameplay was overall serviceable. And again, the atmosphere was decent. But the more I got into the game, the more it started to show its cracks. So let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to go over is the story because it's easy to digest because there is nothing to digest. So here's a synopsis from the Steam page. After an accident that cost the life of his girl, John lost all contact with reality. He must find a way to escape from here before going crazy, unless he already is. That is literally it. If you didn't know what the synopsis was and just bought the game blindly, you would just assume the guy crashed his car, killed the little girl, and woke up in a school full with these crazy people on there. That is literally all you get. The matter of fact, the father doesn't even talk about the little girl when he wakes up. He doesn't wake up in agonizing pain. He's like, oh God, my little girl, she's dead. I'm a monster. How's my wife? How am I going to explain it to my wife? Freaking hell. It's like, they don't go there. It's just very, I'm awake. I gotta get out of here. It's, there's nothing for the story to talk about. And that's a darn shame because psychological horror narratives are one of the best narratives for horror games. I mean, just ask Amnesia, Outlast, Dead Space, Silent Hill 2, So they're great stories because it really dives into the character's psyche, gives you plenty to talk about. If you're not really great at writing, which I've stated this for, I can't remember what game was. It was at Home Security in my article on Pixel Bay, that if you're not a very skilled writer, then do visual storytelling. Have there be symbolic imagery telling the story, like Silent Hill 2, where, like for example, in Silent Hill 2, you can find this torn up teddy bear that belonged to this one woman, but it's symbolic of her like tragic childhood, that she was tormented a lot as a child by her family. That is a great route for people who aren't good, writers. They can, visuals, at least the visuals could give me something to talk about and theorize. But here there is none of that. It's just, crazy haunted looking school. That's about it. There's nothing to stop and analyze. And there is no ending to this game because I couldn't beat this game. which I'll get into that in a moment. I just want to say is I can't really say there is an end to the story because the game's poor, this optimization of this game or lack of directions has incapacitated me. I completely butchered that word. I'm going to say it more simpler. Has not allowed me to beat this game. That's about as simple I'm going to put it. So it's a sad thing to hear about a psychological horror that doesn't really do a good job of doing, the psychological horror. It would have been kind of cool to see, if maybe at the beginning the father wakes up in a mental asylum, which actually now brings me to my next point. Why the hell is he in school? Shouldn't he be in an asylum? I guess that'd be too similar to Outlast, but for narrative-wise, it would make sense, you just gotta change a lot of things so it can, stand apart from Outlast. But if they went with the school, they could have easily, wrote in a narrative reason why he was there, and see him descent towards madness as he goes. Maybe then we can start seeing, toilets getting strapped to the ceiling, or visions of his dead daughter haunting him, or something like that. The descent of madness could have really added a lot to it. Even if it was just visuals, no dialogue, just visuals. I think that could have added a lot to this game, a lot of replayability, which this game does not have at all. Like zero replayability. So yeah, so it sucks to say the story's a bust. There's no hidden notes to find. There's nothing to digest. So I'm just gonna move on to the gameplay, which is serviceable until a certain point. If you played Outlast, then you essentially played this game, but Outlast is a more refined experience compared to this one. You run, you hide, you can lean over corners, you run through the dark a lot, and you hide from insane, crazy people. That's essentially what Psychose is. And, well, the flashlight is unlimited, so you never have to walk through the dark or run through the dark. It's unlimited. The hide and seek gameplay works. It works. You hide, you see an enemy spots you, you run, you hide, they lose interest, and you can go back about your day. And then, I'm not gonna lie, it did scare me quite a few times. I'm not gonna lie. Just the idea is like, oh god, he's coming around the corner, tip, tap, oh god, gotta go hide, oh god, hide in the locker, or hide behind this bookshelf, oh, playing around Rosie with this creature. There was fun to be had. I'm not gonna lie, there was fun. But you can get that same fun in Outlast 2, which I've already stated is a more refined experience, which now I will get into. In Psychose, when you hide, you are hidden. You are very well hidden. That enemies don't just open the locker. They don't even check the locker. As a matter of fact, they don't even check the locker. If an enemy spots you, go hide in the locker, they'll immediately lose interest. There's no tension built. Like, oh, something there. There's nothing of that. There's none of that. It's literally they just lose interest, and you can break the gameplay. You know how in Outlast you can lean over, the corners to see what's going on, but they also disable that ability when you're in lockers and stuff, because you just clip through the locker and just look down the hallway as if you were in there. That's the problem with Psychose, is that you can clip through the lockers and hiding places and just essentially just look down the hallway and break the game. And that's what I did when I figured that out. The horror and tension ended immediately when I started using that. All I have to do is just hide in the locker, just clip out of it, and I just look down the hallway, and the enemies won't see me. They'll just walk right past me. They won't bother me. They won't do anything. They'll walk right past you. And it's a real bummer once you figure that out. It really does. It really does kill the horrors in the game. And there's other things that kind of does kill the horror a bit. Like the enemies themselves, their animation, their walking animation needs some work. They feel a bit stilted. And there's only one type of enemy. At least in Outlast, they give you a variety. They give you like 3 at least. The guy with the scissors, there's the big guy, and there's the regular ones that chase you. Or at least there's like 3 that you could run from. Here, it's just the one, and they all act the same, And again, for the most part, until I figured out that gameplay breaking mechanic, having to rely on my hearing and paying attention to the lights to see if they're close by was a lot of fun. Again, until I broke the gameplay, which is just a real bummer to think about, And what also adds what insult to injury right now is there is puzzles. I'm gonna put that in big giant quotes because the puzzles are essentially just fetch quests. I spy. All you do is find keys. That's all you do. That is literally, you don't flip switch. You don't try to get the electricity outlet to be right. You just find keys and that's it. Not really fun. And sometimes I found a key in the most odd places. Like one was on. Well, no, one was in a toilet, which to me is like the last place I would check, and it was the last place I checked. And it's just not fun. It's really not. As a matter of fact, there's some times I think the game glitched out, which I guess is a good segment to get into the optimization of this game. The game is glitchy. There was like 2 times I walked through the door and the character said, "Oh, this door seemed locked," but I opened the door regardless. It seems like I was supposed to find a key, but it opened anyways. So I feel like they cut down the game's length by a lot because of that. And the game's not very long itself. It's probably like maybe 30 minutes long, 30 or so, give or take, if you know what you're doing, if you can even beat the game, because I think it glitches at the end. See, there's a certain point where you're supposed to go to a telephone. You can't use the telephone because you're on a nightmare world, so no telephone lines will work. The game doesn't really tell you what to do after that. It just tells you that. You wander around, you find your dead daughter looking at you on an operation table, and nothing happens. You just wander around. Nothing. There's now no end credits, nothing saying, "Oh, this is an early access, it's still being worked on." Nothing. It just... nothing happens. So I'm led to believe the game glitched or something, and I can't beat it because of that. So yeah, optimization could use some work. And for stabilization, the graphics look good. If you try running on Fantastic, which is the highest thing you can go, the frame rate drops a lot. It's hard to run on the highest setting. First, I thought it was my recording software, my Elgato, but that's not the case at all. That's just how the game runs on high graphical settings. If you bump it down to medium, you mostly get a smooth experience. But when you load up the game, you'll notice a frame rate drop, and there will be times where the frame rate will chug. Not horribly, but it will chug to the point you will notice it. And that's kind of a shame, because when it does that, everything gets a bit blurry. You can't really appreciate the amount of work that went into the atmosphere. Like, the lighting's very well done. There's a good amount of detail into the level, and it's just very nice looking. Again, I feel like there's some things that they could change. Maybe make it like a mental hospital school, something along those lines, I guess, to fit in more of the narrative. But again, there is no narrative, so screw it. What do I know? And it's just, yeah, the game's just not very. The game, looks nice. It does, but it's not optimized correctly. It could use a bit more polish. That's what I can say about it needs more polish. So, yeah, that's Psychose for you. It's a game that I could almost recommend. I almost could recommend it, but I can't. Since there is no real story to talk about, there's only one type of enemy, the gameplay is serviceable until you break it, until you figure out how to break it, which I just told you how to do it, so you're going to break it immediately. And there's just no resolution because the glitches and the frame rate drops. Who are these people again? 20 Dolz Productions fix this game. Go back and polish it. Where there's a natural ending and you can't clip through the lockers anymore. Then I could recommend this game. I wouldn't say it's a great horror gem because the problem is the story is still a problem because there is nothing to go back to, so there is no replayability to this game. The gameplay doesn't add any replayability. The story doesn't add any. There's no extras. There is a hard mode, but I honestly could care less about the hard mode because the game already itself doesn't work. So that's Psychose for you. Not as bad as Centralia. Nowhere near not as bad. It's a step up. I would say this is a step in the right direction. We just need a game that looks as good as this, but it has better gameplay and has a good story, and we officially have found our horror gem. But this one, I'm sorry, I can't recommend it. It needs more time in the oven. Developers fix it. I'll post a comment underneath my video saying, hey, developers fix the game. Go play it. It's fun, but keep in mind, it's only really a one-time play. If you want a horror, chasey, gory horror game, go play Outlast or Amnesia. You know, go play one of those two. You're going to get a much better experience. Well, that's my thoughts on Psychose. Have you guys played it? What do you guys think of it? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. And just let me know if there's any horror indie games you guys want me to check out. Well, this is Hyperactive, signing off.